I'm joined here today by a very victorious Emily Ducote coming off a big win at Invicta FC 36. Emily, how are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Oh, glad to hear it. I'm sure you're doing great coming off this win. I believe that was your first knockout as a professional. How do you look back on this victory?
Yeah, it was my first TKO as a pro, and I'm really excited about it. I was, that wasn't really my, not goal, but I wanted to get it finished, but wasn't really expecting that. But I'm happy it happened, and I was just kind of trying to figure her out in the first round.
And I know that was your debut for Invicta. Is that kind of what you had in mind when you wanted to make a debut? I'm sure you wanted to make a statement and kind of show people that you belong in the division.
Yeah, it was, even above my expectation of my debut for them. I'm really excited to be working with them now, and happy to have been successful in my debut.
And how do you feel to get that TKO? Because we know some fighters, they prefer to get TKOs, they prefer to get finishes. That was your first one as a professional. Did it feel any different from any other sort of victory?
Yeah, it was awesome. Normally, if I had, in previous fights, I had knocked somebody down before, I'll go look for the submission. So when she fell, I was, going to go try and see if I could find a submission. But the way she fell, it was just perfect, and I decided to just try and keep punching, and it worked out for me. I got the finish that way.
And so you mentioned going for the submission in the past when you saw your opponent being hurt. Is this going to change your approach going forward, knowing that you do have the power to knock somebody out, or is it just going to kind of depend what's going on in the fight?
Yeah, just going to depend what's happening in the fight. I like to prepare all aspects, striking, wrestling, and grappling. So I knew she was a striker, and I was not going to rush for my takedown. I do have striking as well. So I was just seeing what was open, what she was doing, and just worked out where I landed that nice punch right on the chin and dropped her. So every fight's different, but I do feel like I'm happy that I did have success standing and didn't need to necessarily take her down.
And if I'm not mistaken, this fight took place at 115, right?
Right, yes.
And so this is a new weight class for you. Why the change in weight class?
Well, actually, before Bellator, I was fighting at 115. Bellator 125 was an opportunity that I didn't want to pass up. So I did that debut, or that fight with them, and after I won, they signed me, and they didn't have 115. So I fought for them because it was an amazing opportunity, and I don't regret any of those 8 fights that I did at 125, but the entire time I've been a 115er. So after those 8 fights, I decided I didn't want to fight at 125 anymore. So I did one fight out of Bellator before this, earlier this year. That was at 115. And when Invicta, we talked to them, we were very, very strict on not fighting 125. It's a 115 thing, and Shannon was amazing, and obviously they have plenty of 115ers. So this fight was supposed to be a 115, and that's where I'm going to be staying.
And you mentioned that you were strict on wanting to be at 115. What's the reason for that? Is it you feel like maybe you give up a size advantage at another weight class? I mean, what's sort of your reason for wanting to fight at this lower weight?
Well, 125, I didn't cut any weight. I walked around the weigh-in weight. So to be fighting at a high level, in my opinion, some people can do it, but for me, I don't want to fight girls with that much size advantage. I did it for 8 fights, and I don't regret it at all. But moving forward, I want to be at 115. That's where I feel the fastest, the leanest, the strongest, and then I don't have to give up that big size disadvantage. When you're getting hit by or grappling with somebody that much bigger than you. So 115 is where I feel, competitive. With a girl, I'm not getting ragdolled around or anything like that. So, it was my division before, and it's my division now.
And did you feel a big difference going from 125, and now you've had these past 2 fights at 115? Do you feel a big difference physically now?
Yeah, I feel really good at 115. Like I said, I feel leaner, stronger, faster. And then I feel like when I'm, competing against the other girls, it's not it's a more fair competition, more even, because at a higher level, it's not just skill versus skill. If you're competing in a different weight class, it also has an effect, at a higher level. So like I said, some people can do it, but I just don't want to do that anymore.
And one thing I do want to talk to you about is sort of your journey this year, because we saw you, leave Bellator, enter 2 different new promotions. I want to start with Bellator. What kind of happened with Bellator? Is this kind of the end of a contract? Did you get released? What sort of happened there?
Well, so Bellator knew also that I was a 115er, and we were talking to them, hey, are you going to ever open 115? And they kind of were exploring it and kind of told us, yeah, we're looking into it, maybe we'll do it. And if we do, Emily can fight at 115 for us. So, but it never happened. They have a few fights, but they're not building a division or anything, and they didn't have any fights for me at 115. So we asked them, and they were really awesome about it. If you're not going to be able to let us fight at 115, we'd like to be released, and they totally understood. And they actually released us, so I was able to go fight for XFN and then fight for Invicta now. So I'm thankful that they understood the weight classes were a big deal to me, and just easily parted ways. But I enjoyed my 8 fights with them. Like I said, I don't regret anything. I fought some really great girls and got a lot of great experience from them, and I'm happy they let me go so I could fight in my real weight class.
And what was the moment when you realized that maybe 125 wasn't quite for you anymore and that you wanted to drop down? Was there a particular moment where that kind of came, or had that always kind of been in the back of your mind a little bit?
It had always been in the back of our minds, but I just don't like to pass up opportunities. So the Bellator, my first fight with them, I wasn't signed. It was this amazing opportunity to fight somebody that was under contract with them. And, from there, I just signed with them, and there just kept being fight opportunities, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it, every fight camp, every opportunity. But after a while, with each camp, I started to get a little bit more leaner. I started walking around a little lower, and I was walking around between 26 and 28, not cutting any weight to weigh in, and knowing that they gained a bunch of weight after weigh-ins. I just didn't want to do it anymore, and after that 8th fight, we just kind of said, hey, we're going down to 115.
And how difficult was it for you to make that decision to kind of leave Bellator? Because it is one of the biggest organizations in MMA. Was that a tough decision for you, or did you just feel like at this point it's what's right for me and I have to do what's right for myself?
Right, yeah, I know. People work really hard to get there, and so it was hard to say I don't want to fight anymore at that weight, and take a step down and, go to a smaller, more local show. But it paid off for me. I did my fight earlier this year, XFN, and then I signed with Invicta. So it worked out. It was hard, and, there's always that what if I don't get picked back up, by a bigger show. But, I worked hard, and I just kind of needed to trust it, and it worked out for us.
And luckily for you, you did get picked up with Invicta. I know all the fighters that fight for them, they really love working for them, and Shannon Knapp and everyone. How did that signing sort of happen? Did they contact you? Maybe your management contacted them? How did that sort of happen?
Yeah, so even when I was signed with Bellator, nobody knows how many fights you have or what your contract length is. So we had talked to Invicta before, and everyone knew that I was a 115. That's where I wanted to be. So after I was released, we sent out messages. I had messaged several promotions, and just kind of worked out where Shannon messaged us and gave us an opportunity, and we took it.
And so now you're on a 2-fight winning streak. Like we said, the debut went great. Your fight back in February went great. What's been the key for you getting these 2 victories? I assume it can't all be down to just switching weight classes.
Right. I have some awesome training partners, not just here, but, I have my friend Sam in Seattle, Jessica Middleton in Kansas, and I even went and saw Mallory in Colorado, Mallory Martin, and, just my regular training here with my partners here at the gym. Morgan is like my main training partner. We do everything together. But then adding in those little trips every once in a while, a little weekend trip to go spar with somebody you don't regularly train with. I feel like that was really helpful for this camp specifically. I even trained with Claudia Adelia before my fight, before I even knew I was doing this camp. So I had been doing training trips. I'm just trying to learn and be better. So by the time that Shannon had messaged us, I had already been training just consistently, and that's just what I like to do. So, when we got the call and got the opponent for the 6 weeks, we, got things a little bit more specific as far as training, but, all my training partners and just consistently training and just waiting for the opportunity, for the email, for the phone call.
And so now that you are with Invicta, what's sort of your goal? Because the interesting thing is fighters have different goals. Some of them with Invicta is to be champion, some of them is just to get picked up by the UFC. What's kind of your goals professionally now that you've signed with Invicta?
Yeah, Invicta is a great promotion. I've been watching them for a long, long time since I was an amateur. Been studying their fighters, been studying their entire promotion. So it's not just like a stepping stone for me. It's actually a goal. I want to fight for them. And I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush at all. I'm 25. I've had 13 professional fights. So I'm going to enjoy where I am. I'm going to see what Shannon offers. I'm not rushing for a title. I'm not rushing for the UFC. I'm just going to take it one fight at a time. I really just want to fight. Just camp by camp, one fight at a time, and obviously have some bigger goals, but I'm not going to rush to them.
Makes a lot of sense. I just have one more for you, kind of leave it here. When can we expect to see you back in the cage, ideally? And also, ideally, who would you like next?
They have, I believe, they have the tournament coming up, and then they have 2 cards after that. I would love to be on one of those cards. Sometime before the end of the year, get one more fight in. And they have a big division, a lot of options. Whoever Shannon, offers. I don't pick fights. I don't really, call people out just because for me, it's not about who I'm fighting. For me, it's about me, my preparation, my plan, my everything. So whoever she offers really is what it's going to be.
All right. Well, thanks so much for the time, Emily. I really appreciate it. I know everyone's looking forward to seeing what's next for you, and congratulations on the victory in your debut.
Thank you so much.